Hi, I'm Erin Weisbeck. I've been a registered nurse for 12 years and a nurse practitioner for 2 years in Saskatchewan. With my article, I'd like to say that I am not an expert on racism, but I did want to share and talk about my own experiences as being a visible minority working within the healthcare sector. Racism makes me feel like I'm living in a box at times. It makes you feel limited by insurmountable barriers when it happens, and it's actually very exhausting. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it does take quite an emotional toll on you. It's hard on your spirit, on your confidence, and it's painful. Every time it happens, it takes a lot out of you. Lots of this is subtle. You can't say with complete certainty that that's what it is, but it feels like it. And it's really difficult to prove. How do you prove it? It's important to remember that unless you're First Nations here in Canada, uh, we all are from immigrant heritage, and therefore we're all the same. I've had experiences in the past where people have assumed because I'm not Caucasian that I must be from somewhere else, and this just isn't the case. You shouldn't make assumptions on people based just solely on how they look. In the workplace, there was a time when somebody made a comment to me that maybe the patient didn't understand you because you're not from here. And I just really just laughed. I said, well, the Ontario way of speaking, is there a difference? So yeah, it's pretty shocking, some of the things and the assumptions that people come out with. One of my very first experiences with differential treatment was my very first nursing job. I remember being told by one of the nurses that if you make any mistakes, no one will cover for you. And that's not very welcoming to a new person in their career. And at the time, I didn't recognize what that was, but I've read articles that Black nurses or people of color can be treated more severely or harshly when you make a mistake. It's more unforgiving. And some of my friends, my nursing friends who are people of color, have experienced similar things as well. Just recently, I was rehired at a health region, and I walked up to the orientation check-in desk, and the first question that they asked me is if I was hired in the food services department. Why was that assumption made about me just based on how I look? I mean, I would never say that to somebody. It makes me think that that was racial profiling. I wrote this reflection piece after I attended a Black Lives Matter protest in Saskatchewan, in Regina. I just got to writing about what my experiences had been. It just helped me to process what's happened. And I realized that, you know, a lot of times when racial discrimination has happened in the past, I've actually had a lot of normalcy biases with it, where it's just how it is, and it takes quite a large toll on you emotionally and mentally to try and speak up against racism when it happens. It leaves a person feeling very vulnerable, and it's actually very embarrassing when it happens. You do feel different. It makes you feel excluded. So I decided to share my experiences because hopefully it can help other people have the courage to also share their experiences as well, so that we can make more changes for the positive. I have nursing friends who have accents. I can understand their accent perfectly fine, but they've been told nobody can understand you. And I don't understand why somebody would say that to somebody else. Everybody has an accent no matter where you go. So I call it intolerance. People are happy to repeat themselves and communicate, especially in the healthcare professions. It's quite shocking, actually, that this is what it really is. People are people. I never really wanted to talk about it before because it made me feel vulnerable or embarrassed that I've actually been through these kind of situations.